The Boston Bruins had some new look lines at practice on Monday ahead of a California road trip, and it's the first installment of the Atlantic Division Power Rankings this season here on a brand new episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. Free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. And please do smash that subscribe button if you have not already. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Quick reminder, you can find the podcast on social media at Locked NHL Bruins. You can find me, my dad jokes, hockey thoughts at Ian C. McLaren. I hope you're all having a great week so far. And on today's episode, it's the first installment this season of the Atlantic Division Power Rankings. Very early, of course, small sample sizes to work from, but we'll look at the top 4 teams and the bottom 4 teams. But first, an update from Boston Bruins practice on Monday, where Jim Monthomery deployed some new looking lines. Now, the fourth line remained intact, Milan Lucic with Johnny Beecher and Jakub Lauko. Very effective fourth line so far, but in the top 9, some guys moving up and down and all the way around. We had Brad Marchand, Morgan Geekie on the wings with Matt Poitras taking the center spot there. Jake DeBrusk back to his natural left wing spot, playing alongside Pavel, Zacha and David Pastrnak. And then on the third line, you had Charlie Coyle centering a line of James Van Riemsdyk and Trent Frederic. Part of the problem, not problem per se, but something that Jim Monthomery is trying to address is 5-on-5 offense generation. The Bruins so far only have 2 5-on-5 goals through 2 games. So not terrible, but something that they would like to improve. Of course, they won on Saturday against the Predators on 2 power play goals and a penalty shot. So far, they have an even split at 5-on-5 in terms of goals scored. 50%, 2 goals for 2 goals allowed. Jim Monthomery said it again, it's a small sample size, 2 games. They're going on the road. Factors into it a little bit on why, because other teams can deploy their line after the Bruins are already out, last change and all that. He said he hasn't seen a lot of offensive 5-on-5 generation. Again, small sample size, but he trusts his eye behind the bench. And when he follows it up and sees it on video, he just wanted to try something else to get a spark. Lighter schedule to start the year. Again, two games over the first 8 days. They've been using the extra time for teaching the group the way the Bruins would like to play. He said he really liked how the 5-on-5 game changed from game 1 to game 2. Played a lot faster in all 3 zones, so that was encouraging, but still a long way to go. He did say that Poitras has generated a lot of offense, and now he's getting an elite player like Marchand on his line. Previously, he had been playing with Trent Frederic and Morgan Geekie. Speaking of Geekie, Montgomery really liked Geekie's game, wants to see if there's any chemistry there offensively. The other line, putting DeBrusk with Zacha and Pastrnak, a real good rush line, a lot of speed, and a lot of creativity. Is it going to work? Who knows? We do know that Coyle and Frederic have some familiarity and reliability as a duo. and see if James Van Riemsdyk can help them connect the dots in the same way that Craig Smith did in the past. Of Poitras, Brad Marchand said he dogs the puck. Quote, he's not timid at all and goes to the hard areas and the net. And if you lose it, he has a second and third effort to get it back. And that's typically what makes players really good in this game, is when they don't make it the first time, they're able to get it back and make it the second or third time. As he continues to get older and stronger, that will even benefit him more and more. And Marchand is excited to see his potential and where he goes in his career. A lot of great attributes right now. He seems to have the knowledge of the game to know that. He's not reluctant to put it in the zone and go after it. So Captain Brad Marchand, a lot of great things to say about Poitras, and Poitras said it's exciting to have an opportunity to play with a world-class player who protects the puck, keeps pucks alive. He's going to try to find soft areas and support him in the offensive zone. Learn a lot about protecting pucks, practicing with Marchand, watching him play, and he wants to implement some of that. Now the Bruins are, of course, embarking on a 4-game, 8-day road trip through California and into Chicago. They're off today, travel day to San Jose. Sometimes these trips are a good opportunity for guys to bond. They get to know each other. They get to go to dinner, walk around LA on a day off. Bonding time. You learn about yourself as a player, as a teammate. So it should be a good experience for these guys. And maybe, a good bonding time early on in the season helps set the tone for what's coming down the road. Poitras, again, has played 2 games already. 7 more he can play before they have to decide whether or not to send him back to junior or keep him up for the balance of the season. So that's it for the lines update. Coming up, we're going to discuss the Atlantic Division power rankings, who is standing out so far, who's struggling. And we will discuss that after the break. You shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and a best price guarantee. So Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You can see the view from your seats before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive, and there are no hidden fees. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps on your phone. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but just create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. All great athletes have one thing in common. They take care of their bodies, and a huge part of that is optimizing their whole body health. Some of them drink AG1, and it's why I'm a huge fan, because every daily serving, you're setting yourself up for success with 75 high-quality ingredients that give you key daily nutrients and support energy, focus, strength, and clarity. It's a micro habit that delivers macro benefits and helps just about everybody take great care of their health every day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NHL Network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL Network to get started with AG1, your complete whole body health nutrition system. All right, thank you so much once again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day. On tomorrow's podcast, we're going to do a mailbag. So if you have any questions, please send them via social media at Locked NHL Bruins or at ENC McLaren. You can also reply in the comments on YouTube. Already got a bunch of questions via Instagram. I'm excited to answer those for you tomorrow. Let's look at the Atlantic Division. And a big story coming into the season was whether or not there would be some shuffling from the top four and the bottom four from last year. Would the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins, Florida Panthers hold on to their playoff spots? Or would Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, maybe not so much Montreal, but one of those teams jump up and grab a spot? Well, so far, and we'll begin in the bottom four, not great start for the Buffalo Sabres. They are 0-2 through 2 games. They have scored only 3 goals. A highly touted offense that they have there. They've allowed 8 goals for a division low -5 goal differential. They have so much talent there between Tage Thompson, Jeff Skinner, Dylan Cousins, Zach Benson in the mix, Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power on the back end. Still some questions in net. Can you rely on Devin Levi for a whole season? Who's going to help carry the load there? Not a great start for the Buffalo Sabres, who are this week in 8th place in the Atlantic Division. In 7th, well, it's a similar situation between the 6th and 7th place teams. Both the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers have played 3 games. They're both 1-2 for a .333 point percentage, and both have -3 goal differentials. The Lightning, in particular, without Andrei Vasilevsky, have allowed a division high 14 goals against in their 3 games played. So without Vasilevsky, things not looking amazing for the Lightning. They've also lost a lot of depth players over the last couple of years. Yes, they've had some guys step up, Nick Paul, Brendan Hagel, to complement the core. But until Vasilevsky gets back, and unless they find some reinforcements in net, could be a rough start for the Tampa Bay Lightning and could put their playoff standing in jeopardy. The Panthers dealing with some injury issues of their own. Aaron Ekblad, Brandon Montour out with injury. They are 1-2 again, -3 goal differential, and they're going to need some help on defense. Although they did, I should say, they are -3. They've allowed 11 goals, and that's with having shut out the they beat New Jersey last night for their first win of the season, which is pretty impressive. But still, that was their first win. They have issues on defense, and we'll see if they can withstand those. Now, 5th place team, they might not be this high again this season, the Montreal Canadiens. They're 1-0-1. However, they have lost center Kirby Dach to injury, and from the sounds of it, it's ACL, MCL, and he could miss the majority, if not all, of this season, which is a huge blow to the Canadiens. They weren't projected to be that great to begin with, but losing him puts them clearly in the draft lottery top pick conversation, which could benefit them long term. But I feel bad for Kirby Dach. Injury issues have plagued him. Canadiens had like 600 games lost last year due to injury, and it's a tough start for them. I want the Canadiens to be competitive. The Bruins-Canadiens rivalry has died off over the past few years, and hoping to see them get a bit better and maybe get into the conversation just for the rivalry factor. Not going to happen this year. I have Kirby Dach on one of my keeper teams, so that's a huge blow to me. In fact, Kirby Dach and Matt Boldy both injured, and I have both of those guys on one team. So don't talk to me right now. Anyways, those are the bottom 4 teams. Buffalo in 8th, yet to win a game, yet to record a point, in fact. The Panthers, Lightning, with 333 point percentages, -3 goal differentials. And the Canadiens, who have earned 3 out of a possible 4 points to start the season, but are going to be missing Kirby Dach for quite some time, and likely destined for the basement here in the Atlantic Division. All right, coming up, we're going to look at the top 4 teams in the Atlantic Division so far through, 1 week of the season. Get into NFL action this season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, on that $5 bet. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options like spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon to get in on the action this NFL season. And again, a minimum $5 bet will get you $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, win or lose. That's fanduel.com/lockedon. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. So you can see who the top 4 teams will be by process of elimination. Where do our Boston Bruins rank among them? Well, if we go by point percentage, the Bruins are tops in the division, 2-0 to begin the season through 2 games. They have a +3 goal differential, but I'm going to give the edge to the Detroit Red Wings. Yes, they shut out the lowly Columbus Blue Jackets. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning and lost to the New Jersey Devils to begin the season, but division high +5 goal differential. They're 2-1-0, and they really do look pretty solid so far. I have been keeping a close eye on Ville Husso as their starter. He's been a bit shaky. James Reimer was the one who got the shutout last night against Columbus, but they're a team to keep an eye on for sure, as are the Ottawa Senators, who I'm putting in second place at the moment. They're 2-1-0 as well through 3 games, +4 goal differential, and they look pretty solid as well. Their goaltending tandem of Jonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg has the look of a nice pairing. Vladimir Tarasenko is finding his groove in Ottawa, and they've been playing without 2 of their top 3 centers in Josh Norris, who continues to be injured, and Shane Pinto, who has yet to sign his contract as a restricted free agent. If they get those 2 guys back, then they really could be cooking, and there could be a nice battle brewing between the Red Wings and the Senators or maybe both, to overtake one of these Florida teams and get a jump on the Buffalo Sabres for, grabbing one of those Atlantic Division playoff spots. I'm going to put the Bruins in third. Again, small sample size, 2 games, 2 wins, 1 over Chicago, who is not quite that impressive right now, and also over the Predators. I'd like to see them play some playoff teams before we get a better view of them, but so far so good. +3 goal differential, 2-0-0. We'll see how they fare on this tough road trip. And then I'm going to put the Maple Leafs in fourth. They are 2-1. They lost last night to the aforementioned Blackhawks. They've allowed 13 goals, which is second worst only to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the division. +1 goal differential. They've scored 14 goals, but allowed 13. Kind of same old story for the Maple Leafs. All-world offense, defensive struggles. and the goaltending looking a little shaky so far as well. So Detroit, Ottawa off to great starts. Boston, Toronto winning in the mix there. That's your top 4 teams in the Atlantic Division so far. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Disagree? Hit me up on social media. Drop a comment on YouTube. And on tomorrow's podcast, we'll be back with some mailbag questions. Again, Bruins are off today as they travel to California to get acclimated to the time change in advance of Thursday's game against the Sharks. And that road trip will last for a week. 4 games. We'll be all over it here on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. Take care of yourselves, friends. Take care of each other. And we'll talk to you again here tomorrow on Locked On Boston Bruins.